Hey guys, I hope you are all doing well. My name is Fred Gorey, and I don't have any training in medicine. However, today I would like to speak on a subject that is in the medical profession. My background, as some of you may know, is in environmental studies. That is how I started out. And then somewhere along the way, I branched into the field of communication, an industry I have been in almost all my working life. The topic I would like to talk about is an important one and it's a sensitive one. It's the topic of mental health. And today, specifically, I would like to talk about depression and also about anxiety attacks. Now, let's begin from the very beginning. I was about 4 or 5 years old, I estimate, thereabouts. And I was a little boy growing up in my village, and at night we used to sleep on a mat, and we used to share blankets, 4 or 5 boys sharing one blanket, and everyone will be fighting for this blanket, and usually the stronger one, the one in the middle, would get the entire blanket, and the rest of us would be left to battle with the mosquitoes all night. But anyway, on this particular night, something significant happened. Let me say that as I transitioned from light sleep to deep sleep, I found myself suddenly unable to move my muscles, unable to speak, and literally pinned down. And I was fighting off this force that had pinned me down and made me unable to move, unable to speak. And it lasted something from a minute to two, and eventually I managed to wake up. And I was so tired and scared and sweaty and wondering what this was all about. That night came to an end, and in the morning I walked up to where the adults were, and in my innocence I shared with them what had happened to me in the middle of the night while I slept. And after listening, their verdict, their conclusion was that those were curses, that I was being fought by demons because of whatever reason. There are many reasons which I don't want to get into right now. But that was the beginning of decades of battling a sleep disorder. A sleep disorder which all along I believed was being fought by demons. In fact, 3 years ago, in 2019, I authored a book, my first book, Break the Chains. And this book details my struggles with sleep disorders, which I bluntly put it as being fought by demons because of whatever reasons that had happened in my family. A few things have happened since then, and last year, thanks to the goodness of a few of my friends, I decided to seek medical help because I was suffering so much. I had reached a point where I was giving up because the sleep disorder is closely related to depression and anxiety disorders. So I remember going to one of the major hospitals in Nairobi and spending 2 nights there as they did what they called a sleep study. Initially, when I made my description, the doctor thought that I was suffering from sleep apnea. But at the end of my stay at the hospital, he declared that sleep apnea was not the problem. He put my problem to something called sleep paralysis. And so I was happy because now I knew that, I know what I'm suffering from. That is not actually demons the way I thought. And I was very hopeful because once you know what the problem is, the diagnosis has been made, the next step is the treatment. So I asked the doctor, okay, doc, so now we know what I'm suffering from. Now what next in terms of treatment? What drugs are you giving me? And he told me, unfortunately, there's no cure for this condition that you are suffering from. These are matters of the brain, they are matters of the mind, and there are drugs which you can take to help you sleep, but you can't take them all your life. What I would recommend is sleep hygiene. Now, sleep hygiene is a whole topic by itself, but basically involves having predictable sleeping and waking up times, reducing screen time before going to bed, trying to lose weight. I mean, a number of things that you do to help and improve the quality of your sleep. But basically, they don't take the problem away. They may improve the quality of your sleep, but they don't take the problem away. Now, currently, I am undergoing treatment for depression and anxiety attacks. And I can tell you that it is a very complex situation. My doctor has told me that the treatment will last a whole year. That means if I am lucky, I will take medication, 2, sometimes 3, every day for the next 1 year. But the doctor has also said that only 80% of the patients recover outright from depression. The other 20% may face some challenges along the way, with some recovering, but others becoming chronic, so having to continue treatment throughout their lives. Now, how do you know that you have depression? Depression is difficult to define. And it's not something that I want to define in the medical terms because that will be really complex. But it is a feeling of sadness. Sadness is a common phrase we use. I mean, we feel sad from time to time when some things happen in our life, when we suffer loss. We might feel sad when we are getting late to work. We might feel sad. But this is sadness that is unique in its own way. It is sadness that is long-term. It is sadness that is connected to a wound on the inside of you. It's a wound whose pain you can feel. It's a wound which makes it difficult for you to communicate. It is a wound which makes it difficult for you to wake up in the morning. In the morning, you are in bed, you are awake, but you are so exhausted. You are so tired. It's like you never slept at all. And you don't want to leave your bed to go anywhere. It's a wound that makes you scared of interacting with other people. And so if you have a job that you have to do, your job will suffer because you don't want to be in a place where you're interacting with people. And even when you get to the place of work, you cannot communicate effectively. You cannot be effective in your work. You are scared of people. You are scared of getting into meetings. This is a wound that will affect your relationships. This is a wound that creates an emptiness within you, an emptiness that nothing can fill. And so this is why it's such a serious problem that in some countries, anyone who suffers depression for longer than 6 months can declare disability. I'm not sure how the situation is in Kenya, but I have heard of people with mental health conditions, some of them declaring disability. The good news, however, as I have alluded to, is that there is treatment. And we are so grateful that there are drugs that are available that you can take that can help you feel better, that can balance the chemicals in your brain that may be causing some of these challenges. There are drugs that can make you feel better, that can make you improve your moods. And as the doctor said, 80% of people with depression do make full recovery. The 20% may have to go treatment for treatment be beyond the 1 year, and some of them do make recovery, and some of them may have to continue treatment. But regardless, the good news is that there are drugs that are available. Now, my encouragement to you this day is that if you have got any symptom, any manifestation of depression that goes for longer than a few days, is not something that you need to ignore. Going to see a psychiatrist is not a sign that you are mad, that you are crazy, and there's something wrong with you. Mental health, especially depression, is an ailment like any other. It's like having malaria. It is like having high blood pressure. And just like somebody with malaria undergoes diagnosis and then is given medication, somebody with depression can be diagnosed for that condition and given treatment, except the treatment can last longer. So do not ignore signs and symptoms of depression, because left untreated, it gets worse with time. And the longer you take before you get treatment, the more difficult it will be for you to find a full resolution. May God bless you. If you are one of those who has a mental health condition, depression, anxiety, or any other mental health condition, or if you have a relative who is going through such kind of challenge, there is hope for you. Follow me. Till next time, my name is Fred Gorey. Goodbye.